down to the wire in Green Bay, and the Packers were able to beat the Houston Texans 24-22.
Yeah, flip a coin. I don't know, man. This game was like one of those ones where if it was in Houston, because it was in Green Bay, if it was in Houston, the Texans probably win by a decent margin, I feel, personally. But I don't want to use that as, the major reason why this game turned out the way that it did. When it comes to a field goal to decide a game, that usually tells me that the losing team had opportunities to capitalize defensively, and they failed. That's just the way that it is. So, for example, usually, unless there's a huge, run back off a kickoff or a punt, you got 4 downs like any other team does in any given Sunday to keep teams out of field goal range, and that just didn't happen. It's just one of those games where I can't really say much about it. I love the matchup. I had it being high scoring. I think that my projection was 33-34 Texans, but I thought that after watching that game that it just was one of those games where if Houston was going to win on the road, which is Lambeau's a tough place to play, and Packers are they're a solid team. They're going to be there when it's all said and done. You have when it comes down to wire, you have to capitalize, and that right there is what separates phenomenal teams from great teams. You think about the Chiefs. Yes, we get it. They get help from referees all the time. You think about the Ravens. They don't usually play from behind a lot, but they when it matters, like we just talked about Lamar Jackson, he makes the play when it matters the most. The Texans needed a defensive stop or to keep out of field goal range, and they didn't. That's it. So whenever I see a game, especially low scoring, gets 24-22 for these two teams, when I see a game like this that comes down to a field goal, I'm like, the better coach team won. They found a way to get within field goal range, and the kicker did what he needed to do. And that's just it. So I don't really have much to say about this matchup and the turnout. I just was overall disappointed in the fact that it wasn't high scoring. But, Green Bay, they got a pretty good secondary. I'm not sure if they're still leading the league in turnovers. I think they were up in interceptions for a while. They might still be leading the league in interceptions. But the Texans, they're not really known for anything other than having, CJ Stroud and at the time Nico Collins and now obviously Tank Dell and Stephon Diggs. But it's not like we're hearing about the Texans like they were a couple years back. It's like, well, this is this defensive team that just they're showing up. This is a D'Amico Ryan's team where it's like, hey, these are some dogs on that defense. If you don't got guys like that going up against Jordan Love and that young receiving core who is hungry, and also add in Josh Jacobs, who is hungry never to prove to the rest of the league that they are supposed to, they're meant to be a team that's going to go for an NFC championship game, right? You do what you do tonight, or what they did on Sunday, and that's put your team in position to win. So I say shout out to LaFleur. Shout out to LaFleur for keeping his guys straight and get him in field goal range and get in that position.
As an Ohio State guy, this game hurt me. CJ Stroud, after the campaign he had last season, 10 of 21 for 86 yards. Mm-hmm. I know Nico's out. Stephon Diggs, top 20 receiver?
Yes.
and he's still been doing his thing this year. And then you have Tank Dell. I know Tank Dell's not the greatest. He's better than a lot of number twos. Let's put it like that. A lot of teams would kill to have Tank Dell on their team. You have the weapons, dude. You have to go out there and do something. You can't do that. I know Joe Mixon is back. If you're relying on Joe Mixon to carry the football 25 times, it's going to be a long season because there's going to be one game where they stop that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're going to see him get hurt again, knocking on wood. You don't want to see it. 25 times is crazy. Saquon doesn't run it that much. Derrick Henry doesn't run the ball that much. Breece Hall doesn't run the ball that much. You're going to run this guy to the ground. And for Dalton Schultz to be your leading receiver, 1 reception for 28 yards. When Stephon Diggs came out before the game and was getting into the scuffle, I'm like, okay, he's about to have one of them games. First half, not good. Second half, changes the cleats, no better. Jair Alexander, the pack is back. Jordan Love, when his team needed the most, was able to drive them down there and get a field goal. Like Kaz mentioned, the better team won this game. If they have Nico Collins, do they win this game? You never know. Like Kaz mentioned, if this game's in Texas, they win this game. That's how close of a game this was. These teams are young and upcoming in their conferences. So to see them go battle it out, and like Kaz mentioned, Green Bay is not an easy place to play. Jordan Love, since coming back from his injury, has been killing it. He's been turning the ball over tremendously. But like Kaz mentioned, after we've seen a couple of interceptions from Jalen Hurts, if you're going to be a gunslinger, you have to take it. If they're going to throw 4 touchdowns and 280, there could be a pick or two. And if you just have to accept it because he's going to sling it. 24 passes, completions for 33 incomplete. And he went 24 of 33. Josh Jacobs, 12 carries for 76 yards. And then Romeo Doubs, 2 weeks ago, was told to stay home. 2 weeks ago, and now he's out here balling out. Christian Watson has got to come back. Devontae Wicks. They have Tucker Kraft. They have a lot of weapons on this Packers team. So this Packers team is going to shock a lot of people. And damn it, I say, are they going to win the division? The Lions are playing great, but so are the Packers. Now they have
Vikings
back. And I truly don't believe this is because they all have to play each other at some point. So we're going to see the dominance in one of these teams. So that's all I'm going to say on that.